Do you think that Workers' Party, if they have the chance to, should do what SDP did? SecGen apologize, Chairman apologize, and the person himself apologize?
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
Yeah, because on the scale of 0 to Jijin Wong,
0 to KLK.
there's 0 to KLK. This one is like not even halfway there.
not even enough.
So you would also prefer to have had this info.
This makes me feel I know him. At least I know this guy better.
Yeah.
He's not just a goody two shoes, a humble background, that kind of nonsense, right? But one thing's for sure, mainstream media is not covering his letters very much.
Yeah. Because not this letter, not his open letter to Gan Kim Yong, not his open letter to Ng Chee Meng. I think last year also when he wrote open letters, it was none of the mainstream media. So some people online are questioning, saying, hey, why are you doing it now? I know in that thread also some people say, why you never write letters last year? I'm like, dude, he wrote how many fucking letters last year?
It's whether you read it.
Right, it's whether you read it or not.
Yeah.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Yala, your daily podcast, this GE2025, where we talk about the hottest news with a touch of what, Terence?
Good old humor.
Good old humor, man.
Yeah.
So this is day 8.
Exciting times, man.
Second last day. The penultimate day.
Yeah.
How would you describe your feelings?
I mean, where we see the finish line already, finally.
Yeah.
And I think starting to see also a lot of gutter politics coming out as well.
Yeah,
So it's a lot of things to talk about.
Which is why these last 2 days we have saved it for the most hotly contested constituencies.
Yeah.
And today we're going to be going to the northeast. So starting with Punggol, then Sengkang, then Hougang, and then Jalan Kayu. Each of those, right? I think Hougang is probably the one that is the less drama.
Yeah.
Everything else, Sengkang also maybe less drama. Punggol and Jalan Kayu is hot, man.
Exciting.
Hot. And literally one of the topics is going to be arising from relating to a candidate in Jalan Kayu.
That's right.
So it's going to be an exciting day. We're going to be recording from Punggol. But first, just a shout out to a couple of people who made this possible. So first, Lendela, a fintech platform, and our primary sponsor and your transparency ally, this GE2025. So similar to us, they are all about transparency and making an informed decision. Because for example, right, Terence, before every episode, how much research would you say we do?
The whole night. The whole night. I even dream about politics at this point. Yeah.
That's
Seriously,
true.
Yeah.
It never stops because we want to make sure that we are as informed as possible. So always get transparent loan options on Lendela and make an informed decision on your loan.
Yeah, and shout out to West Point Transit with the team at Lionel and Bala really driving this whole bus together and making it really, really easy for us to get around all these 33 constituencies, right?
Yeah, man.
And we're doing this in an electric vehicle as well, so we're minimizing carbon footprint. So yeah, this bus has been nothing but an amazing way for us to reach out to people and listeners.
And the links to Lendela and West Point are in the show notes. Please check them out. But now, on to the episode. Alrighty, we are on site at Sengkang GRC.
That's right.
Sengkang GRC, which is a PAP versus WP contest.
The Workers' Party stronghold for the last 5 years.
Yeah. How would you say this ranks in terms of hotly contested GRCs?
I mean, initially I thought that because of the Raisa Khan issue, that there would be a bigger contest here.
Yeah.
But I think Jamus and gang, Herting Ru and Louis Chua, have had a very strong showing in their rallies and all that. It looks almost unshakable at this point.
Yeah.
Right.
And I mean, like, it just occurred to me recently also that because of that whole Raisa Khan shit show, they have actually been functioning in a GRC as a 3-person team for the past few years. Yeah. And we were talking about this before recording, right? Like, maybe that's the reason why the PAP hasn't come up with gunslinging about that case.
Yeah.
Because they can just retort saying that, yes, one person did something bad, stepped down, but we have been managing with 3 people. Imagine what we can do with 4.
Yeah. And they haven't been talking much about the Pritam conviction either, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I hear people online saying Pritam's a liar and all that, but I haven't heard that from the PAP's, mouths. Right?
Yeah, because out of that also came their slogan, what? Step up.
Yeah, step up.
Right, out of the whole thing.
His slogan.
His slogan.
The Workers' Party slogan is working for Singapore.
Correct,
right?
but you hear a lot of them in their speeches saying, I stepped up. This is the reason I step up.
That's right.
So we are in Punggol. So
Sengkang.
Sengkang.
Yes, your mind's already in Punggol already.
Yeah. Sengkang, yes.
Yes.
I think our initial plan was to go to Sengkang.
Punggol first.
Oh my God, Punggol. But we'll be going there after.
That's right.
So just a refresher on Sengkang. So Sengkang is one of two GRCs under WP, the other being Aljunied. In the 2020 election, they won with 52% of the vote.
Yeah.
I also forgot that it was a very close fight.
Yeah.
It was 52%. And the losing PAP slate involved Ng Chee Meng, who is now contesting in Jalan Kayu.
Yeah.
And it is one of 5 GRCs that are left intact since the last EBRC change.
Yeah, correct.
Which, I mean, it's a bit weird because even yesterday we were at Bukit Panjang. And then I think Aljunied, a lot of the opposition wards were intentionally left untouched, which is what the EBRC report said.
Yeah.
But then it also goes against like what the EBRC report said about expanding the boundaries because their population increases. Unless in Sengkang there was no population increase.
Yeah.
Which is a bit weird.
A bit weird.
A bit weird.
But that's it. Like, have you ever set this beautiful LRT behind us in Sengkang before?
I actually have.
You have?
Long time ago.
I've never actually.
Oh, you haven't?
Yeah, but I'm just amazed how quiet it is.
Yeah.
It's like, it's literally passing us overhead and we don't hear it at all. Yeah. So yeah, those people who are listening and not watching, like, you really need to see how awesome this place is. This place called the Sculpture Park as well. And there's a whale behind you and some other very interesting sculptures.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Very nice Sengkang. Very welcome. Feels very welcoming.
Whoa.
And especially after Pritam Singh's speech at the rally last night.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone will come and chase us away because he welcomes like even the PCF Sparkle Tots people to have events in their town councils and all that.
That's
right?
true.
So,
that was in response to him saying that in opposition held wards, opposition MPs actually cannot use the community centre.
In incumbent and PAP held wards, right? Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Which is crazy lah. But I mean it's nice lah. It's nice and I mean. The around this area, which is where we're going later, will also be Punggol, which is PAP versus WP.
Yeah.
That is I would say one of the most hotly contested lah.
Everyone's watching it.
Everyone's watching it. Everyone's talking about it. It's coming up in every rally.
Yeah.
On the WP side, there is Harpreet, Alexis Dang.
Yeah.
On the PAP side, there is Gan Kim Yong
Yeah.
and Sun Xueling. Ling. So that's interesting. And then after that is Hougang SMC, which is currently held by WP. And last but not least will be Jalan Kayu SMC.
Yes.
Where is another big fight lah.
Hotspot. And that's what we're going to be talking about today as well.
Yes.
Right.
But just a quick recap on yesterday. We went to Holland, Bukit Timah, GRC, Bukit Panjang and Bukit Gombak.
Yeah, interesting. I think the landscape there is very different.
Yeah.
Like a lot of supercars whizzing by us as we're recording. But very nice area lah, regardless. Real corridor. A lot of private estates definitely. Right. Anything interesting about the landscape that stuck out to you?
I think where we stopped, it was probably like the most extreme that I can recall in a given day, because even though they're all clustered, Bukit Timah is, like, I wouldn't say heartland, like what you say, supercars, like crazy looking houses. Then you go to Bukit Panjang, which was a bit more like, okay, this is the heartland. Yeah. And then Bukit Gombak, where we were at Little Quilin, it looks like, you can't believe that's in Singapore. La.
Yeah, amazing. So I mean, on our Instagram, we're going to all these places and taking some short content there.
Yeah.
So you can really see how, in one day, in just crossing a couple of like different boundaries.
Yeah.
It's like going to a different country.
It is. So we are recording one podcast a day. We have been for the past 7 days. Today is day 8 in one constituency. After that, we are creating a lot of content. Go to our social media, Yalabat, and on Instagram and TikTok. And if you want to discuss stuff with us, go to Reddit.
Yeah.
And if you want to work with us,
email us at contact@ministryofunny.com.
Awesome.
That's right.
Okay, the first topic.
Yeah.
Was something that I guess the whole of Singapore woke up to.
We woke up to, if you slept early, right? Unless you're caught in the
true.
rallies and, or caught in the jam or anything like that.
Yeah.
But if you slept early, like this is kind of, I won't say distressing, but kind of sad news to wake up to, because the mudslinging has officially like really begun. Hit its stride. I wouldn't say begun, but hit its stride. Yeah.
Yeah, because it has been. It's like they were jogging slow, and then now, but a boom.
All the way also.
But you don't say it's distressing.
Distressing?
No, you say it's not distressing.
It's not distressing lah. I would say
it's disappointing.
Disappointing lah. Yeah.
Okay.
Probably a better word.
And this is the case of messages that were sent in a private Telegram chat by Andre Low, who is contesting against Ng Chee Meng in Jalan Kayu. And this is Andre Lo from WP. At about 1 plus a.m.
Yeah.
I think it leaked after midnight.
Yeah.
There was a Reddit thread by someone who, when you read it, I think it's quite clear that this is someone who was in that group with Andre Lo.
Yeah.
I mean, took a moral high ground
Yeah.
and said, he or she almost fell off their seat when they heard that Andre Lo stands for a more compassionate Singapore.
Yeah.
Because they then shared screenshots of a bunch of messages from Andre Lo in that chat using the F word multiple times and against individuals and companies.
Yeah.
So at 1 plus a.m., Andre Lo posted an apology, admitting that was him. He's very regretful. I mean, it seems like a sincere apology. The first 3 words are literally, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But then since waking up, there's a lot of news about it.
Yeah. I mean, I think we say disappointing because at the end of the day, a lot of the stuff that these politicians say to each other at doorstop interviews or at rallies, it's all part of the campaign, right?
Yeah.
They're criticizing, even they criticize their records or criticize even the way they talk to each other. There was a zinger last night when Pritam Singh was almost literally imitating Heng Swee Keat in the way he delivered his East Coast Plan speech, right? You could call that mudslinging in some ways, right? Because you're attacking the characteristics of a person rather than his track record or what. But I think this is takes it to the next level, right? Where it's digging up something from someone's not so recent past or so, when he was at least 4 or 5 years younger. And it's entirely in a personal context also, right?
Yeah.
In a group chat with his friends.
Yeah.
So I mean, maybe it's worth recapping what the messages, some of the messages
I
actually
will.
were, right?
And I mean, I won't say every F word because we already get scolded enough for our own F words, which we're not going to stop using.
You are the professor of F words, if anything.
You
right?
are the disciple, okay? You're not completely innocent also. But this is just going to add to the F word count unnecessarily. So I will say F word in this. But certain ones, so I guess this is the most incriminating. He was talking about doing some MPS work, so meet the people session work. And I will read it and I quote. Early on doing MPS work, I had to make some calls, so I got a caller ID blocking service. But there was a resident that I could not get through unless I turned off the caller ID blocking. Then they proceeded to call me every day on my personal number. In my opinion, these people can F off. So that was, you look at it, you're like, wow, that you can't, it's hard to be objective about it and say that's nothing. What the rest are let's see, stupid fighter jets doing their thing now. I'm driving, literally no one cares. People just strolling on the pavement and nobody is looking up. Effing piss everybody off for 4 rounds. And so that was against fighter jets, against CNA, against Trace Together. He said, so F Trace Together, calling Singapore an embarrassment, saying during COVID we should isolate and wait till the rest of the world burns itself out. And because this all happened around 2021. So there's quite a lot of screenshots. And you read it, you're like, wow, this guy seems like an angry dude, man.
Yeah. And 2021, because Andre Lau is now 33 years old.
Yeah.
Becoming a dad soon. Congrats to him. But that 2021 would essentially mean that he was probably his late 20s, 29, closing in on 30, if anything. So yeah, I mean, when you first read those messages or just seeing the screenshots, right?
Yeah.
What were you feeling as you read them?
I think disappointed, not because I see it as how can you do that? I just tried going on my WhatsApp and searching fuck and it's endless okay? And I urge everybody to go to your chat. I mean, okay, if you happen to use it once in a while, just go to your chat. It might shock you how many times you have chats that mention that but I would say disappointing because I don't know, in the world of politics, these kind of things, I think it will hurt him quite a lot.
Yeah.
Is it a reflection of his character? I mean, he's a passionate dude, he's an angry dude. Does it mean he's a bad person? I don't know. But I also think you can't look at it and be like, oh, this is not big deal if you're running for candidacy.
Correct.
For you?
I think the first screenshot, the one where he talks about the resident who keeps calling him at MPS, that immediately stuck out to me oh God, not something you would say about a resident, especially if you're, voting, you want to be voted in to serve them as well, right?
Yeah.
It's a bit like as in any business when you bitch about a customer or something like that, especially not even in public but even to your close circle and all that. It kind of makes people question hey, what do you say about me in when I'm not around, right? That's what I think about friends or business acquaintances who bitch a lot about their customers or their clients and things like that. Also, right? Because it just reflects on the person more than anything. So yeah, seeing that, I also was like, oh damn, like not a very good thing, especially because I came in with my doubts about Andre Lau as well. I came with my doubts. I heard him speak and I was like, okay, this guy speaks really well. I think law trained, right? And he's becoming a father soon. I can empathize with that a lot. And seems like a general nice guy that says the good things and communicates well. And the image is of someone who cares a lot and is becoming a family man soon himself and all.
He's been volunteering for 5 years.
Volunteering for a long time.
Yeah.
A very big contrast to his opponent, Ng Chee Meng, right?
Yeah.
Who is a general in the army. We know of his track record. And, he lost in Sengkang. NTUC Income Alliance saga happened under him. And in general, like what I hear about Ng Chee Meng also is quite abrasive sometimes, right? So quite different, stark contrast. And I like that there was this choice for people. So in some sense, I feel like, maybe we kena bamboozled a bit that the actual Andre Lau is a bit more aggressive, a bit more rough around the edges, a bit more smart abeng kind of persona and I feel like, hey, have we been sold something else?
But are you saying that that's a bad thing, or you just feel that it's like different people like that?
Yeah. I feel like basically they've been the party machinery maybe has been suppressing that side of him now, or telling him that to tone that part down now, right? So we've not been fed the real authentic Andre Lau.
So would you say you message like the way you speak?
No, I don't. I think when I speak in person, I'm a lot more direct and all that, because I know that over messages, a lot of these things can be interpreted differently or wrongly or taken out of context. And you can sound a lot more angry, a lot more, passionate about things that you actually maybe don't even care that much about, right? And the F word is just, like you say, just used as a word. But when someone else reads it, it can be interpreted wrongly. So I generally am more careful around chats.
So you're more polite on WhatsApp,
Definitely. Because it's a footprint, right? People can see.
So do you think that extends to most people? Like if you ask them generally, if there's a way to verify it, they will be more polite on WhatsApp than they are in person?
Do I think people are more polite on WhatsApp than in person? No, I don't think so.
You don't think so?
I think most people they just let go on messages and all.
Oh, so how come you're so special?
Huh?
Because you're paranoid,
A bit yeah.
Because you don't have good friends,
I mean, I'm a very private person. That's the truth.
And how many episodes of a podcast have you done?
I don't pretend to have very big groups of friends or that. But you are I think you and I are quite different that way. You have these big WhatsApp groups, and you have a lot of different WhatsApp groups.
Some
right?
I don't even want to be inside, but it's like a huge ass group, So and that is the next thing that I think we wanted to talk about is, I think if you swear. Like, to me, swearing, of course, like, fucking we swear, right? I swear. So I don't think it's an exact reflection of a horrible character. I hope not. But then in a WhatsApp group, like what you said, anything in text feels like, okay, it's permanent.
Yeah.
So when I search on my WhatsApp and all the F words all come out, they tend to be direct chats. In a group, right? Even
is it like the F word, is it used in the context of a vulgarity, or is it used as a verb in the direct chats?
Both. As a very wide kind of... Oh, wait. No.
I'm asking you specifically.
No, a verb, you can say this is fucking bad.
That's not
in some way, it's a verb.
No. Whoa, I think the revelation there was bigger news than Andre.
No. Not rarely a verb. Trust me, rarely a verb. It's always
dirty
adjective. At least, I mean, I'm sure when people search the F word, there will be those kind of messages come out as well. No, definitely not.
Your nasi lemak chat group.
Definitely not. But I mean, even those kind of chats, right? The more you're in a group, that's where I feel it's a bit surprising. He's not very young.
Yes, he's not.
Like if you grew up in the age of social media where it's like a one-to-one relationship. Yeah, people can sometimes not be aware of how you kind of need to act differently. I think we came before the digital world, so when email, we tend to be a bit more guarded. He's like 8 years younger than us on average. So it feels like, isn't it when you're in a group, how come it's not automatic? Like you don't just let go like that.
And to your point, late 20s, not very young. Plus, you already enter workforce already. So generally, certain things you shouldn't
paper
put
trail
black and white.
and shit like that. And you were already volunteering.
Yeah.
It's just like what you say, it's disappointing because it's. But this one, I wouldn't say gutter politics lah. It's just. Dirt lah. I mean, it's not gutter. What?
But who? I guess the question is who brought it up. How come it's coming in some anonymous post and everything?
Yeah.
Very, very reminiscent of the Nicosia Leon Pereira thing as well.
Yeah.
Anonymously posted. You don't know where it came from, and the timing was just like on point, lah, right?
Yeah.
Timing on point. Yeah. So I would say I think also. I mean, you say dirt also lah, but it kind of calls into question, someone's judgment, lah, right? Because I mean, the vulgarities aside, if you read the rest of the context around which he's scolding things like that, like some people pointing out anger management issues, right? Very angry. Some of them I agree with, like when they talk about certain telco providers who screw people over. Some of them I have said that myself in the past, right?
Especially for one.
Especially one of them of a certain close to crimson color logo. But the point is like, wow, just really, really angry about, I don't know whether it's his Razer keyboards or his his Prism monitors, about airplanes flying overhead, all that. And so angry enough to type this kind of thing out and send to people. Sometimes I also get angry and I type shit out, like to groups to complain or something. Then after a while, I always like, do people really want to hear me rant? Like I'm being like uncle at the coffee shop kind of thing, right?
Wonder sometimes you type damn long. Damn long. Then I'm like, can you just send a fucking message? Because you pulling back.
I pull back. Because I know like, as you age, I think one thing you learn is that don't react immediately to things. Let it process a little bit, then you react, right? And if you still want to be angry about it, it probably means that it's worth being angry about, right? Mm-hmm. But a lot of times, whether in your relationship or work or even like dealing with people that you're very angry with, right? It always makes sense to leave some time, let yourself like cool down first and then approach it.
That's the Abraham Lincoln method lah. You used to write letters and then put it in a drawer.
And
don't send them out. Just to vent lah.
So I think the problem is the judgment here where he saw it as like, oh, I'm so angry, I'm just going to type this out and send it to my group of friends. And he said that those were his business school friends, right? And well, when you hear there's a business school friends, what kind of group chats do you think are going on there and all that?
I mean, I think it's just a chat group of your cohort lah. Like you join a course, you join a training program, there's a chat group. But then again, it calls into question lah. Like, are you good friends with all of them? Chances are, if you're your cohort, then you go and share info like that.
Correct.
A bit weird lah.
Yeah, correct. And I go back to, I mean, I can't believe I'm quoting Trump on all this lah, right? But there was a point when Trump and Hillary in 2016, I think they were having a debate, and they asked, why do you think that you'll be a better president than Hillary Clinton, right? And he said, because she doesn't have the temperament for it, right? And then at that point when I heard something, my jaw dropped. I was like, what the hell is Trump talking about having a temperament and all that, right? But maybe aside from Trump, but the idea of, playing politics and all that, having a temperament and understanding that you don't just react instinctively to everything, and that's part of the whole thing of being a politician also, right?
Yeah.
And if you want to react and show anger, there's also a strategy to it, which maybe is missing for Andre at the point in his life.
I mean, even in a personal life, when you're arguing with someone, right? Sometimes if you play the cool person and you let the other person lose your shit, right? Then you have the upper hand.
Yeah.
You have the upper hand. You just poke, you probe, and then you have the upper hand, lah. Because I mean, arguing is sometimes no point, like losing temper and all, right?
Because I was going to say also that Andre Loh, since his first rally speech to his rally speech last night, he has taken feedback and improved already. I think initially I just thought he was just shouting way too much at the start. And I think yesterday he like, you can tell he toned down already. Certain parts he's like going slower, calmer, and then he builds up and then gets
the cadence,
rowdy. The cadence is there. So you can tell that he's someone who takes feedback and can improve quite quickly. I mean, quite a waste that this came out.
But then so how much do you think this will impact his chances? Because he was the underdog to begin with,
Yes.
Right.
I think on Reddit and all these online echo chambers, they'll say that, oh, it's no big deal because everyone swears and everything. But, judging by the number of people who've, even for us as a platform, come on our platform and scold us for using vulgarities, I think it's a much bigger deal than we think.
Yeah. And I mean, we use, on average, how many vulgarities you think by episode?
At least 2 or 3. More than 5. 5, 6,
on average.
Yeah.
So this one thing. I mean, it's 5 years ago. I would still take bad language over bad leadership for anyone.
Yeah.
But I think in this case, given that it is very shareable, you imagine all the older folk and all or people who maybe not even the most savvy on WhatsApp, but you receive these screenshots, right?
Yeah.
Walao,
it's a smoking gun, right?
It's a smoking gun.
It's like the only way that would counter this is like someone releases screenshots of Ng Chee Meng signing off on capital extraction from NTUC and then his signature is there or something like that.
Yeah.
That's the only way that you could counter this, but I don't think you'll get that.
And I mean, it feels like the Allianz thing also has kind of died down because he gave that weak defense, then Assembly kind of supported him, kind of tried to clear his name.
Yeah.
But people, I mean, it's still in the news, which is somewhat our second topic.
Yeah.
But this one feels like, wow, it's sad because whether or not you support Andre, right? If people are voting based on shit like this, right?
Yeah.
That is a failure of the whole process, and that is, I think, the most disappointing thing for Andre Loh. Yeah, like he did that, it wasn't good. He came out and accepted responsibility.
Yeah.
Of course, you might look at him a different way, and rightly so. But if this is what sways people, that's fucked up.
Yeah. I mean, okay, so, but we know Pritam Singh has been through, probably seen worse, right?
Yeah.
I think we think back to, remember Raisa Khan in the last election when her activist pass was dug up and she said certain things in her role as an activist that was very questionable, and then she had to apologize. Yeah.
And then they still won.
She still won, Sengkang still won because of the strength of the team.
Yeah.
In this case, it's a SMC. You think can compare those two incidents of Raisa Khan in 2020 and this Andre Loh one?
Well, these are like the two bad boys. The two bad boys of WP and PAP against each other.
And imagine Pritam is like, oh God, what now?
No, for Raisa Khan, I think it was 2 tweets.
Yeah, tweets. They're most on racial, religious lines.
I think that one was,
offensive.
I would say, is worse.
Right? Yeah.
It's worse. Because that one, it touches, I mean, we have laws against sedition, protection against harassment.
Yeah.
So in this case, he's an angry dude, or he was angry at that point in time.
Yeah.
COVID, a lot of people did stupid shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a dent, but I don't know whether it'll be as big a dent.
Yeah. Do you think that Workers' Party, if they have the chance to, should do what SDP did? No, I mean, like, SecGen apologized, chairman apologized, the person himself apologized. Do you think that is necessary for that?
I don't think so. I don't think so.
You don't think so?
Yeah, because on the scale of 0 to Jijin Wong,
0 to KLK.
there's 0 to KLK. This one is like not even halfway there.
Not even halfway there, yeah.
The Jijin Wong is like, wow, at a rally somewhere. You talk about Raisa Khan, she talked about racial stuff. It was years ago.
Yeah.
This one at a rally.
Yeah. No, but you don't think that Pritam Singh or somebody senior should at least say that we've counseled him on his.
Oh yeah, you can address it, but not
yeah.
to the extent that SDP does it.
The bow and everything.
Yeah. I mean, I think they kind of have to address it.
They have to address it, right?
They have to address it. I don't think they need to bow.
Yeah.
Maybe bow for every fuck. Just sometimes the whole rally.
No, apologize to StarHub, apologize to Prism, apologize to Singtel.
Firefighter jets, everything.
That will be, I mean, and maybe the resident, maybe bring out that resident that he's complaining about. He'll be like the Arifin and that.
You can call me anytime. Yeah, you can call me anytime.
Here's phone numbers of every MP in Workers' Party. Please call him.
Yeah. So I mean, like, I don't know. I don't know whether this will also be something the PAP brings up.
I'm sure, yeah. I would if I was the PAP. I mean, I would bring it up because politics is all about optics, right?
Yeah. And that's what we're seeing. I think the next 2 days there's going to be so much of this. I mean, even on the trail with doorstop interviews and all, you are getting a lot of he says, she says.
Yeah.
Right. Last we left off yesterday, I think was Assembly rebutting Pritam, and then Pritam rebutted him.
Yeah.
And then today, last night, Shanmugam rebutted WP defending Gan Kim Yong.
Yeah.
And I think yesterday also, PM Wong rebutted WP and said Gan Kim Yong is a very, critical partner.
Yeah.
I mean, when you see all that, like, I mean, wow, it's just part and parcel, I guess.
Yeah, but I mean, shout out to Gan Kim Yong lah. He's getting more attention online than he is in real life lah. Much more.
Yeah,
Right?
based
all
on certain things we have seen.
all the funny memes of him, like people walking past him and all that.
Oh, but one thing we did see before we started recording was that ST is making memes of Gan Kim Yong.
Yeah,
Straits Times.
something I found quite unpleasant.
Why?
Because I think they were banking on Lawrence Wong calling Gan Kim Yong task force man, right?
Yeah.
And then somehow they put it together with this meme of Gan Kim Yong as Batman with the Adam West Batman with the old school logos, all that.
Yeah.
So I was like, wait, why is Straits Times doing these memes? It's wasn't even something that big or that funny or that interesting, right?
Yeah.
But it almost compares him to like a superhero. I mean, okay, that's part of the speech, that's what they did. But, as the mainstream media, if you're going to do that, have some balance, right? Do it for both sides. Yeah.
Yeah. So because I think I have been seeing some videos of them, covering the rallies where they get their employees to go to the rally and clearly speaking to the young people.
Yeah.
But yeah, with the Gan Kim Yong thing, that one was a bit weird because it is a very light-hearted and almost, how you say, a fun kind of vibe.
Yeah.
But I don't think you would see that being done for the more, prominent opposition parties. They will still get coverage, but it won't be in a fun way that associates, laughter and whimsical ideas with them.
Or the terms of endearment, as ST likes to say. They won't focus on the terms of endearment. That
because
the
the
opposition
ST, to
uses.
their credit, they've been quite balanced in like on the campaign trail. They do it with the incumbent.
Yeah.
They do it with people like Alexis Deng. They do day in the life of a candidate. They do it across the board. But it's those sort of memes that's a bit weird.
A bit weird. Yeah.
But I mean, like another thing that the mainstream media, not just Straits Times, didn't really cover, which builds on the Battle of Jalan Kayu. Actually, it's the Battle of Jalan Kayu.
It is.
It's some endorsements or open letters that have been written by a certain Tan Swee Chie. And I mean, his background, he used to be the CEO of NTUC, which oversaw NTUC income, NTUC enterprise. So basically, the
Enterprise, he used to be CEO of Enterprise, in fact, which oversees income, oversees fair price, everything, right?
Yeah, and I mean, I think people may not be aware how much of a role he played in criticizing the whole deal because he wrote a number of open letters.
Yes.
But recently he wrote an open letter to Ng Chee Meng asking him certain questions to address.
Yeah.
He wrote an open letter to Gan Kim Yong asking him to address certain questions because Gan Kim Yong was chairman of MAS, I believe. And more recently he wrote an open letter endorsing Harpreet Singh. And what made you want to talk about that?
I think because actually no one in the mainstream media seems to be covering Tan Swee Chie's open letters. But I think they are very crucial because Harpreet has even brought them up in his rally speeches, saying Ng Chee Meng needs to answer to Tan Swee Chie's open letters, right?
Yeah.
I think Tan Swee Chie even he has been on a podcast. I think some people listening to our podcast for the first time might not even know, but Tan Swee Chie actually came on a podcast earlier this year to talk about his involvement in the whole NTUC Income Alliance saga, right? And he's a very deep thinker. He thinks a lot about the future of Singapore, the role of NTUC, and why he had to speak up against the deal very closely. And he laid out the timeline very exactly, very succinctly. Not succinct, but very, very detailed, right? And I think it's worth people listening, it's worth people reading his open letters and realizing, there's still a lot of questions that have not been answered, right? Not just Ng Chee Meng itself. Then now with this endorsement of Harpreet, I'm wondering, some people are saying, now it's clearer that he's come out and shown that he's sort of partial to the Workers' Party candidate, right? Does that dilute the message that he's putting out there as well? I think that's on the discussion going on online.
Yeah. I mean, another thing about him is he loves to write letters.
Yeah, he does.
And very detailed letters.
Very detailed letters,
and he definitely keeps a paper trail. So if you ever send him a message where you swear, I confirm he has records.
Yes,
but I mean, on one hand, if you read his letter, right, I can sort of understand why he felt compelled to write it. Because he starts off, as Singapore approaches GE2025, I would like to offer a fuller political context from my recent postings and share my professional experience with Mr. Harpreet Singh Nehal, who is now standing as a candidate. first section, my political views. And he says very openly, since becoming a citizen in 2014, because he was born in Malaysia, I have consistently voted for the PAP and proudly defended the leadership that has built Singapore into an exceptional nation. And this is public, which is why I'm okay to share it. And he just seems like he felt the need to clarify why he endorsed Harpreet and whether or not his allegiance is changing. Which, I mean, I respect. And he also declared that Harpreet actually, he gave him some legal counsel when he was deciding to push back against the corporatization of NTUC. So that's when you explain the relationship, I actually think like it's good that he wrote the letter.
Transparency, right?
Yeah, although some people online are questioning, saying, hey, why are you doing it now? I know in that thread also some people say, why you never write letters last year? I'm like, dude, he wrote how many fucking letters last year?
It's whether you read it.
Right, it's whether you read it or not. But do you think that is a good thing or?
I think it's good. I literally did see a friend on Facebook posting about that Tan Swie Che write all these open letters. He should come clean about what his agenda is, right? And I think Tan Swie Che has always been quite clear all along, right? That he's not pro one side or the other. He's really pro Singapore, and he's not against a PAP government or anything. He just wants to make sure that our institutions also have the transparency that are required to become like institutional leaders internationally, right? In terms of transparency, in terms of what's the word? Corporate governance. So he says that's very important, especially in his role as an actuary, right? I think he leads an international organization of actuaries. So he knows about these international standards that he wants to ensure Singapore institutions have as well. And I think that's why I think it's good that he's actually coming transparent with this,
But I mean, it's not common that you see in Singapore people come out publicly and say, I endorse someone. That's a very US thing.
It's very US
thing. Have you seen anyone else do that? Unless they go to like Friends of PAP or something, but they never come out and like post, like Taylor Swift in the US, she would post about Kamala Harris. On their social media and all. Singapore don't have.
Because most of them, they become volunteers already by the time they are doing it.
But you got nothing to flex. Maybe it's not flex worthy.
No, I don't think, but they do it tacitly, like the number of people our age, who volunteer with a lot of incumbents and all that. And they're sending me all these messages about, hey, why don't come and, volunteer also and things. I mean, bit cringe, I find, in the sense that, don't come and tell me some story about how you want to serve a community and all that. When there's a lot of ways to serve community other than like volunteering directly for your MP, right? But they do it and okay, power to them. That's their way of, they think that's their way of giving back to the community. But don't expect me to like just fall for it that you are, out of the goodness of your heart. That's why you are doing this. That's why you are rubbing shoulders with MPs and so happy to help them meet residents and all that.
So that's when you write a fucking long message. Then after that you're like, then no thanks. No thanks.
Backspace.
Thanks.
No, thank you.
But I'm not free.
All the best.
Your thumbs up, the thumbs up.
The emojis are awesome. Yeah. The emojis are like especially when you like what okay, emoji.
Wow, if we get your chat, like your typing history, that'll be epic.
Right. I mean, I'm sure you have also a lot of friends who are not necessarily in politics, but they're volunteering. And I mean, what do you think of their intentions and all that?
I mean, like it always brings into mind like, okay, if you're volunteering for opposition, I will say that to me, I'm like, oh, that's interesting.
You're biased, Arish.
No, because opposition, what's the upside for volunteering for opposition? It's tough, you get scrutiny, and like, unless you like the struggle, you like the pain. So that I find like, oh, okay, there must be something deeper there. If you're volunteering for the incumbent, I do have, same like you, like, oh, actually, since when were you that politically active? But you could turn it around and say against me. Like 6-7 years ago, was I excluding about politics? Hell no. It's just now like I'm kind of obsessed with it. But so things can change. But the moment by doing something, there is a clear upside. And this pertains to not just volunteering with politicians, like with anything in life. Your agenda comes into question. So maybe everybody should get into the habit of writing open letters.
And endorsing candidates and everything.
Or maybe even like when it comes to family, if you want to do this, blah, 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 you have to write open letter.
Correct,
Explain yourself.
Explain yourself. But I think like what you mentioned is a very US thing, right?
To endorse.
To endorse a candidate, like how Taylor Swift endorsed Kamala Harris
Yeah,
and all
yeah,
that. Does it really move the needle on a lot of things? I'm not sure. Especially in Singapore's context, right? But one thing's for sure, mainstream media is not covering his letters very much.
Yeah. Because not this letter, not his open letter to Gan Kim Yong, not his open letter to Ng Chee Meng. I think last year also when he wrote open letters, it was none of the mainstream media.
It was just briefly, his name was briefly brought up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think it's I mean, you would need to go to alternative platforms like ours to hear his side of the story.
Yeah.
So those who haven't, please do check out the Tan Swee Chee episode lah. I think it's if you want to know the full context of what happened and why he's writing all these letters, I think it'll be helpful.
So you think this is the last we'll hear about the NTUC income thing? Because tonight there's a bunch of rallies and tomorrow is the final hurrah lah.
Yeah. No, I'm excited to see how Workers' Party responds to this Andre Lau thing and if they will still be talking about, like what you said, bad leadership versus bad behavior.
Bad language.
Bad language. Yeah. So, interesting lah. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, like, what are you looking forward to the next 2 days?
I mean, let's see what all the parties do.
Yeah.
Still, I think it's still Punggol still seems very much up for grabs, right? Still very tight contest. And we've entered the phase where anonymous accounts are posting shit on candidates already lah.
Yeah.
So at least we know a little bit more. In a sense, would you have rather not known about this Andre Lo thing, or now that you know
I would always say I appreciate more info on candidates than less.
Yeah.
So I would say I would lah.
Yeah. You think what if he leans into this like fuck everything.
Fuck this shit.
Yeah.
I swear.
Yeah.
I have feelings. I am
33
not
years old.
emotionless.
Yeah. I haven't had sleep for the last 7 nights and everything. This is how I talk.
If I see something wrong, I will get angry. So if something makes you angry, I will fight on your behalf. Together we can fucking do things.
Yeah. You think that will work?
I think at rally it would lah. No, but at rally maybe some people will be cannot. Because got kids and all lah, right?
And I think that's also another important thing to remember lah. That he's a man who's going to undergo a very big transformation in his life soon. He's going to have a kid, and I don't know about you lah, but for me having a kid, suddenly then I start to realize a lot more about the things you say in front of people, the way you do things and all that. Has a real profound effect on people who live around you and all that, right? I don't know, for you, have you had that as well?
I mean, I think for a large part, ever since my dad passed away, 2013, my mom has been either living with me or something like that a lot lah. And I try not to swear in front of my mom lah. So when my kid came, my mom was staying with us. So I think that was kind of a general modus operandi. But now I do try to not swear in front of my kid lah.
So I am convinced that he will or has at least toned down since then already lah, right? Maybe still some anger things, but who knows, that's just a mark of someone who's also very passionate lah.
So you would also prefer to have had this info?
This makes you feel I know him, at least I know this guy better. He's not just a goody two shoes, a humble background, that kind of nonsense lah, right? You know, this is how he talks in real life, and that's a lot of what we do on this podcast. We talk to these politicians to really get a sense of who they are as a person and what it's like sitting for an hour with them, just talking to them, right?
Yeah, correct.
Do they end up cutting you off and being condescending or what? You know, it's very interesting, and I think all political leaders, I invite all of them to come on our podcast, right?
Can you imagine if tomorrow they introduce him, and next up is fucking Andrew Lo?
So that will be doubling down.
And he comes up yeah, man, I'm gonna own this shit.
But he's apologized already lah, so I doubt it.
So I mean, interesting lah. Well, what's happening?
Correct.
2 more days. Oh, one thing that I just realized from my wife yesterday, that tomorrow is actually a public holiday.
It is. We are.
I totally forgot.
I know, yeah. I also, kind of had to remind my wife that, tomorrow's a public holiday, I'm not going to be around.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly. We as well. Oh, shit.
Yeah,
but public holiday, but we'll still be cranking it out. We'll be going to the West tomorrow.
Yeah.
It's going to be super exciting lah.
Yeah.
And then hopefully make it to a rally or 2 today or tomorrow lah.
Yeah.
And then, it's all up to the Singaporean voters.
But shout out to our families, right, for allowing us to
big
do
shout out
this.
to our family. This one can be vertical extract.
Yeah.
Thank you to my wife and everyone
for their
else
big
who's helping.
sacrifice. Their big sacrifice so that Singaporeans can hear us talking about the F word and all.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, the one Shiok comment, man.
Yeah. My one short comment is from our longtime commenter Jungle Jimbo 88, who posted that article that was written about us on the AFP, the Agence France Presse, right? About Singapore's new airwaves. Singapore's podcasts give opposition a louder voice. So yeah, I mean, maybe it's just sort of a shout out to the article as well, right? That we got interviewed, by international news press about about this being a podcast election. And what are your thoughts about the article?
I mean, I thought it was cool because just acknowledging that podcasts are a big part of politics these days.
Yeah.
It's great, and it's an international media outlet that has now appeared even on Malay Mail. No?
Yeah.
Malay Mail also syndicated the content. And I mean, it's always nice to get recognition from media like that.
Yeah, I love the intro. In a tiny studio, a former Wall Street banker and an ex-aviation executive are doing what critics say is lacking in Singapore's tightly managed media landscape, giving opposition politicians unfiltered airtime ahead of an upcoming election.
Yeah, but I mean, unfiltered airtime.
It's challenged. It's challenged. We challenge it.
But they did go on to say that, we don't just bash, we challenge. But that first line, maybe that should be like our new intro. What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode between Wall Street banker and an ex-aviation executive.
With constructive feedback for all candidates.
Yeah, that's right. That's cool. My one Shiok thing is a comment on Reddit by Academic Ask 7997, merely 5 hours ago. And the title is, "With fights getting dirtier, Yalabat's role becomes much more important. We are in the thick of the rallies where parties are taking shots with each other, mostly between PAP and WP/SDP. Some cheap shots, some absolute bangers. It sometimes gets confusing when the PAP calls out these shots, alluding to negative politics when your own members have done so. A lot of double standards. With that, Yalabat's role as an apolitical podcast becomes much more important. Essentially, it's becoming a referee in a football/UFC match to call out bullshit. It's difficult to listen to he said, she said arguments until H&T do their best to put things into context and question both sides." Which means a lot, because I mean, at the end of the day, we are just two people trying to figure out stuff and reading and consuming every type of content we can. So if people find value in what we are creating, really means a lot.
It does, yeah.
Cool. And then what about your one Shiok thing?
My one Shiok thing is our good friend Rishi Budrani on his own. He's doing podcasts with interviews with candidates from the election. But he recently did a video where he basically responded to Gigi Wong and what she did. And spoiler alert, it's like really funny because he actually responds in Hokkien to Gigi Wong.
I think I saw that.
So that has like a lot of views. I'm almost 1 million views on Instagram already.
Wow, so solid
it's pretty funny
And his Hokkien was not bad.
It's good. So I think he probably called his friend who can speak Hokkien too.
But I mean, you can understand the unless he wrote it out in phonetics. I don't think he can speak Hokkien.
I don't think so. But I think every Indian person has a friend who speaks Hokkien, right?
That's true,
Arifin also. Arifin had to cross-check with his Hokkien friend, speaking friend. You probably also have one that not me for sure. I'm not the guy.
Confirm. But that's cool.
Yeah.
And then for me, it is, I know a couple of Shiok things that we mentioned have to do with Jom, run by our good friend Sudhir. But they actually do this daily dispatch, which is just like a carousel slide of images where they summarize the day's happenings from the day before. And actually, I really enjoy it because I've always liked their takes on things, like Sudhir's takes on things. And with so much content out there, sometimes you don't want to read like long form article. And I think they do a good job with the daily dispatch.
Nice.
So that's their GE2025.
What's the latest thing that you've been reading of this?
It's called Spicy Chicken Sandwich.
Yes, I saw that.
And it's the PAP's Fear Machine. Basa Baku, Chicken Games, Different Sandwiches, and the WP's Two Bears.
Oh, nice.
Cool. And it's all done in like a carousel.
Oh, yeah.
But yes,
Nice.
just as the sun begins shining on my face this
Yeah,
time,
this time.
we've come to the end of the episode for day 8.
Yes.
So just one more day left.
One more day of this
Before cooling off day.
daily Alabat podcast before cooling off day. I think, can you explain a bit why we're not doing like a live watch and all that? Because some people have been asking and all that, right?
I mean, okay, so
Watch party.
I think it's more like just, I'm sure we might have different sides of the same coin in terms of reasons, or maybe the same reason. For me, it is we set out to do this daily coverage, go on the ground and really do the best possible job with it. For live stream, for me, it's like a different format, and yeah, it's something that I think like for us, the focus has been doing this, and if we haven't really planned for a live stream or watch party, I don't want to just do it because we can lah.
Yeah.
I think I'm so happy with how this has gone. We'll do one recap on Monday of the entire thing, and that would be our GE2025 coverage lah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for you?
Yeah, for me, it's like, I think we're doing this, like you said, as a campaign, right?
Yeah.
We go out there, we do it all, we finish it. We hopefully everyone who watches this feels educated and entertained at the same time. Disagree with us, agree with us, whatever. But everything is out there until 2359 on Thursday. On Thursday night, right?
Yes.
Yeah, 2359. Then after that, with all this in your mind, go and make your decision at the polls. Don't take our word for it. Don't, think that we know everything, because we don't. And we encourage everyone to take from as many sources and talk to as many people as you need. But make your decision. After that, it's up to Singapore to make a decision for our future. And we will be there after, when the new government of Singapore is formed, when the new party, or whoever the new winner of this election comes forward and takes charge of government, we'll be there to do our Yalabat thing again lah. Right?
Actually, what will happen in the days prior, we will know who is the incumbent government.
Yeah.
But then the cabinet reshuffling will come in a
after
few
later,
weeks.
Yeah. So we also want to partake in this process, democratic process, and we are no different from you and I. All of us, we all have the same power. We have one vote lah.
One vote,
So-
unless you're in a Marine Parade Red Heights.
Sorry. Rest in
No,
peace,
not
Marine
all of
Parade,
us.
Red
Not all of
Heights.
us. Yeah, correct.
But yeah, so we are just like you. We are also going to partake in it. So we also don't want to do anything extra to influence the votes or anything like that lah, right?
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, thanks so much for listening. If you're new, please remember to follow us on social media, where we're posting a lot of other content, including where we'll be today and the rest of tomorrow.
Yeah.
And if you want to work with us,
Please email us at contact@ministryoffunny.com.
thanks so much, everyone, and we'll talk to you all soon.
Signing out, we got to say, signing out from Sengkang GRC.
Do we say that every day?
I mean, I like this. We need to mark where we are, right?
Okay.
Signing out from Sengkang GRC.
Oh.